bear with me here because this is kind of a little bit on the heavy side. But I could tell it was coming. I could see it. We on Loveline were talking about nothing but childhood trauma. Kaiser finally published their study on adverse childhood experiences and realized, oh my God, most of our patients have had adverse childhood experiences, sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect, that kind of thing, which is what creates narcissism. And narcissism have been given a pass for a long time. It's been almost a narcissistic society we've been in. And one of the things that happens from narcissism is you lose the ability to empathize with other people. The other thing that happens if you're a trauma survivor is you can get caught up in crowds and mobs pretty easily. And whatever sort of remnant parts of you that are still feeling hurt and aggressed against.
Does that include cults? Like, would you be more susceptible to...
Cults are a little different. No, cults are a little of a different phenomenon. No, a little different. That's really looking for a family, per se. This is I have these cut-off feelings or get swept into things. And so a lot of what you see on social media is this mob action of people that are looking at one person that they've elevated. Now we're going to chop their head off. I put a chapter in my book. I wanted to put a chapter on pre-revolutionary France because I said that's the only period of history other than maybe the certain part of British history during the Glorious Revolution and sort of how Aztecs raised kids. They traumatized the shit out of them.
Aztecs and
I know,
shit.
it's all coming through you.
Fucking Aztecs, dog.
And I predicted that the guillotines would come out, and here they are. And the problem with the guillotine is whoever is putting somebody up on the guillotine is the next person to go on the guillotine.
Right, so we're getting rid of all the narcissists right now, like survival of the fittest, which are not the narcissism. They're all going to be...
That's sort of what's happening right now. But
have their heads chopped off.
Well, with Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey and certain guys like that, it's justified and I'm sure satisfying to women all over the world. Well, not so much Kevin Spacey, but there's these guys like Harvey Weinstein, and that are representative of shit that you ladies of all ages, of all backgrounds, have probably seen and endured. And you go, well, now's the time. The tide is turning. I'm glad. Let's go. Let's get this out in front of the world, and let's move in a better direction. But unfortunately, in this tidal wave of good, inevitably there's going to be a couple people who can't swim too well, and they get caught up in that shit, like George Takei. Or it's just like, what are we doing? The
That's
guy.
where we spend time, though. The few people, maybe like George Takei, one thing 30 years ago. I think the fact that it is a movement and there are these guys are apologizing. Like they're not saying like I didn't do it. Like I'm sorry. I've done it.
Yeah, that is the craziest shit. I mean, like at least I'm biased because out of all these guys, because I'm a guy. No, I'm biased because out of all these allegations, the one where I was a fan of the person's work was Louis C.K.
Right.
And so I am biased in that regard. But I think it does say something that immediately is like, this is true, and I'm sorry I hurt people, and I hope people can forgive me. There's a lot of value to kind of mea culpa, and this weird dissonance between Harvey Weinstein and the rest of the world is something that's even as scary to me as the stuff that he's done.
The fact that he doesn't acknowledge anything that he's done,
and it's indignant about it.
Yeah.
Like, this witch hunt it'll eventually end, and I'll get back to work. And it's like,
well, that's true narcissism. That's real bona fide narcissism.
But when you're saying the narcissists are all traveling in these groups, is it more like they're around their yes people who are like they've built systems so they can survive? And then these are the people who he's built his company around people saying like, it's okay, we're going to cover up for you, just like human resources and all these companies. So they're not, but now they're being taken down. So I was just wondering what we're gonna. If the narcissists are gone, like what kind of rise of traits are we going to see now that are going to be more interesting as leaders?
Hopefully healthy. We'll see.
But that's my thing. Like I don't think that we learn. It's all about emotional regulation, not sex. It's about guys who maybe were upset because they couldn't get laid in high school or didn't get loved enough by their mother and didn't know how to regulate, nurture themselves, and make themselves feel good. So they take it out on right. So it comes out with wanting women, or even with the Louis C.K. thing.
But it's not just didn't get laid in high school. It's a skill, and it only comes from. It's just like bullying, where, to one extent or another, we've all had that experience, and hopefully it was in grammar school, not in college or something, where you did something to make yourself feel good in front of the crowd, and you looked at the kid on the receiving end, and you're like, oh, fuck. I just shattered that kid, and you feel bad, and then you grow, and you're like, what? You know what? I'm a human being. I'm not going to fucking do that anymore. And I had that ability. I was lucky enough to have that ability to do that with women, where I was like, look, I'm really horny. All I care about is getting laid. I'm going to try tactic A, B, C, and then you go down the list, and you're like, whoa, this isn't working. Even if I succeed at getting the sex, this makes me feel empty. I'm sure it makes her feel empty. There's this whole you develop a skill. It's like anyone can get a little bit overweight and then get back in shape. But in order to like really become a high level athlete, it takes years of practice, and a lot of these guys were not afforded the years of practice of getting shot down, of looking in a girl's eyes when they've done that dick move. And all these dudes who are fat fucking slobs and giant assholes on top of it, they get to be 50, and then they're the biggest producer in Hollywood and multimillionaires. And the same shit happened. Tiger Woods wouldn't have happened if he was an NBA player. Or you don't see that kind of shit. You know why? Because he grew up in country clubs and in this kind of sheltered world where he was never exposed to gigantic fake breasts and girls that wanted to blow him because he was rich. And every NBA star has been dealing with that for fucking 15 years before he gets his first crack at the NBA. And Tiger Woods is now, he goes from guy on the Stanford golf team to every Waffle House waitress wants to fucking gangbang me right now, and I have more money than God. It happened like that. It wasn't as if there was this buffer zone for him to, and that is playing out with all these guys. Like Adam Levine is not fucking sexually harassing people because he's been fucking getting it in since he was in like a zygote.
I still think you're going to hear from some of these populations, but I want to hear from you guys before we go too far down this rabbit hole. Gary, do we need a separate mic, or am I going to walk the mic around? What do you say, voice of God?
You guys can just shout it out to Drew, and then one of you on stage repeat it into the mic for the podcast listeners.
All right.
It's too bad your wife's here because you could use your dick. It just like it's one of those like pool cleaning things, where you're like, ah! It's like Stretch Armstrong, people. It's that impressive. I'm serious. He could just hit the other side of the room. He might just blast through the wall like the laser in Real Genius. They're like, oh, fuck, it went through the courtyard. You see that?
They think you're funny. I'm pleased to welcome Hydrolite back to our program. Hydrolite is not only a product that I can safely recommend, it's something that I use all the time. In fact, I have some sitting in front of me right now. It is the best oral rehydration product I have ever tried. In fact, in one event, the same thing myself, and they got there first. And I was sick this week, and I'm taking Hydrolite. It keeps me hydrated as well as anything. Better than any way I can possibly get hydrated. This is it. And at this time of year, it's impossible. Everyone's getting sick, right? They knock you down. Staying hydrated is a crucial part of it. So even if you manage to avoid this, obviously if you get it, it's crucial you take Hydrolite. But if your schedule's half as busy as mine, then staying hydrated is also important. Getting those 8 glasses of water in a day is almost impossible. Beauty of Hydrolite is whether you're sick or not, you can benefit from the proper balance of sodium, glucose, and water. And Hydrolite does this better than any sports drink and certainly better than water alone. Comes in great flavors, orange berry lemonade, and is available as a pre-mixed drink, a powder, or my personal preference is the effervescent fizzy tablets. Simply drop in the water. I then dropped it in a bottle of water today, by several of them, in fact, and I've been drinking it all day. Compared to sports drinks, Hydrolite delivers up to 4 times the electrolytes with 75% less sugar. Come on now. Hydrolite solutions are appropriate for all ages, and each bottle or package includes easy-to-follow dosing instructions. You can find Hydrolite at Rite Aid or online at Amazon.com. And for a limited time, my listeners can save 30% on Hydrolite. Get some now. Just click the banner on my website at drdrew.com and use the code DRDREW18, DRDREW18 at checkout. That is drdrew.com. Click on the Hydrolite banner, and then the code is DRDREW18. When you're looking to buy a car, you want to make sure you're getting real pricing on actual inventory. A lot of times that is not the case. People configure cars online only later to find out they are not available. Not with TrueCar. Of course, I'm talking about TrueCar. You get real pricing on actual inventory. This is not pricing offered by TrueCar, but pricing from an actual dealer. And not just any dealer, but a TrueCar certified dealer. This is a carefully curated network of dealers committed to transparency and offering you a competitive market price. Yeah, and we talk about it all the time. Using TrueCar, you can easily find the car you want. Next, TrueCar.com or TrueCar app will show you what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for. Now you know what a fair price is, so you can feel confident. Over 3 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. Over 3,000 TrueCar Certified dealers are available nationwide. You will get to work directly with a TrueCar Certified dealer that you make contact with, and TrueCar users are more likely to enjoy a faster, better buying experience when they contact a TrueCar Certified dealer. And on average, you can expect to save over $3,000 off MSRP. Once you register, you'll see a real price on actual inventory. Hook up with that TrueCar Certified dealer. Have a better buying experience. TrueCar, go to the TrueCar.com or TrueCar app. Do what I'm telling you. So questions, interaction, witty comments. Let's hear from you guys. Oh, way over there. Gary, what did you say about how's the podcast audience going to hear this?
You're going to repeat it.
I'm going to repeat it. Go ahead.
The funny thing is Drew's wife's in the back of the room going, yeah, it's Drew. Yeah.
We should call her up here. So what's up?
Should I get the HPV vaccination after 30 years old?
Yes. HPV vaccine.
After 30, though, it's a good question.
I understand.
That's a good question.
Go ahead.
She's a physician also, right?
Oh, may she disagree with me? Here's the deal. So the question was, should you get the HPV vaccine after the age of 30? And the company that got the HPV through the FDA did it only up to age 28 for men, because that's the age in which it's most likely to be a significant issue, most likely to work, and it's extremely expensive to have gone into the higher age groups. And so a lot of the infectious disease doctors that I've spoken to say, look, if you're sexually active, there's a possibility of exposure. Why not? There's really very little evidence that there's any harm done, and there might be significant benefit. So but playing by the book, you might have difficulty finding somebody to give it to you after the age of 28, because per the FDA, that's the age where you're supposed to be, 9 to 28. But
What if you're married?
26, 9 to 26, you're right. What if you're married?
Yeah. Like, why not just give it to each other? I mean, it's relatively innocuous, right?
The virus that are covered by the vaccine are the ones associated with cervical cancer and
never
penile
mind.
cancer and anal cancer,
I take
and
that
neck
back.
cancer and that kind of stuff. So,
Anal cancer. Who?
yeah. When Farrah Fawcett died of anal cancer, that's what she died of. I was bothered that there was no conversations about HPV, no conversations
Well,
about the
I think
vaccine.
that's because of her celebrity. People don't want to say, remember that big, beautiful celebrity? Yeah, butt cancer.
No, she went on this campaign. If you remember, she had that 2-part series of, I want to educate people about this, and she did nothing. Educated and nobody about anything except a scam in Germany that she went to cure her cancer, and of course, that worked great. So,
Anal sex was the number one sex trend in the last 20 years. I just want you to know, hands down, nobody talked about anal sex 20 years ago, and that just came out that is the biggest difference with sexual practices. Just telling you. Michael likes anal, you like anal. I don't know. I think it's
I
interesting.
like it, but it's not like it's.
But it was
weird
like, that's it. They're like, nothing touches anal. Because 20 years ago, think about it, nobody talked about anal. Like, it wasn't a thing. And then porn.
Well, yeah,
and now
I
it was a
get some
thing.
gay guys down here to disagree with you.
But it was straight. People weren't saying, like, let's have anal instead of intercourse. Like, let's go to
Right.
the back
No,
door
no,
instead
no,
of the
no.
front door, which is so stupid. Go through the front door first. Like, people want to. They don't want to protect the.
That's a
card.
bold move. You know who? Farrah Abraham,
do it all
the
the
teen
time.
mom. She's the only porn I've ever seen where they let off with anal. It was,
Yeah, they're
it
like,
was
forget
no
that. But
oral
that's what
anything.
kids
She's like,
do,
come on,
because they're
seriously,
like
let's go. Oh, wow.
Talk about no plot
Yeah.
in the porn. Right?
no comment. So, you're so proud of yourself.
So,
Yeah,
That's my autobiography is lead off with anal.
you know
Always.
how
They love anal.
Matt Lauer got in trouble for having a closet full of sex toys because Dr. Laura Berman brought him sex toys.
Yeah, right.
There's your
Emily brought me
So
many sex toys and
Yeah.
lube and a horsetail butt plug.
I had to get that FedExed. That was a real horsehair.
Wait a minute.
I tried to have a horsetail butt plug tug of war with Jason Ellis, and he wimped out. I was
Probably
really
still could.
yeah. It's a good
No, it
idea.
is a good idea. It's strong.
No, do you remember how that happened? How the whole butt plug horsetail came into being? I can't believe we're having this
I
conversation
knew I
on a
had to
stage
get
in
it for you
Pasadena.
because there was one person that made this special butt plug.
No, I was talking about. I'd always use. We used to talk to occasionally on Loveline these S&M sort of dominatrix.
Dominatrix,
people.
Right.
And this one group came in and they had like a Cinderella's carriage, and a guy would become a horse and pull these women in a carriage around a paddock. And I was like, what the? I don't understand this. This is too much for my weak brain.
Role playing.
And Mike announced,
The
get me a horse tail butt plug. I'll be that guy.
Well, yeah.
Is that
It's
pretty much how it happened?
a majestic animal.
Sort of how it happened, right? He wanted to have a big hat with a plume on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It was
awesome.
crystal. It's called crystal.
I had a
delight.
bit, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah. That's what